Lassiter Factor.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This is your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor, and today I'm going to talk about One Battle After Another, which was released in theaters over the weekend. I went to the theater to go see it, so let's review. So One Battle After Another revolves around this revolutionary group called the French 75, in which two members of that group, they find each other, they fall in love, and have a baby. But then something happens for this group to split up, and Leonardo DiCaprio's character Pat is left to raise his daughter. Flash forward 16 years later, this group is on the run yet again, and Leonardo DiCaprio's character is split from his daughter, and he has to go find her. There's a lot happening in this movie, but generally speaking, and most people would agree that this movie is, in a way, kind of reflective on our country as it is today, as it deals with immigration. This movie is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and generally speaking, I'm not the hugest fan of him. I don't think he's a bad director. It's just he hasn't really made anything that I've loved. At least, well, I'll admit, I've never seen Boogie Nights. I've never seen Magnolia. I watched Punch Drunk Love for the first time a few years ago for its anniversary. I've seen There Will Be Blood, but I've only seen it once. I've never gone back to rewatch it. I saw Inherent Vice, but don't remember too much about it. I never saw Phantom Thread, and I did see Licorice Pizza, which was his last film, and I thought it was a well-made movie, but it was a little weird. If you've seen the movie, you'll understand why I say that. Now he's back with One Battle After Another, and it's not necessarily Paul Thomas Anderson that attracted me to this movie, but it's the cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, of course, I'm a sucker for him in anything he does, but Teyana Taylor, who is in this movie, I am a fan of her acting trajectory. She's come a long way from Byron, and then 2 years ago she was in 1001, which if you have not seen, I highly recommend you seeing. And of course, she was just in Straw, and even she didn't ruin that movie. But like I said, I am a fan of her trajectory, and the fact that Paul Thomas Anderson saw her and said, yeah, you're good enough to be in my movie, that has to count for something. And of course, the rest of the cast is stellar. You got Sean Penn, Regina Hall, and Chase Infinity, in which this is her very first film, or second film, I should say. Cast alone in this film is what attracted me to this movie. But now that I've seen it, how did I feel? I liked it, but I will say up front that I do think that this is a movie that is definitely gonna piss off the far right crowd, given the subject matter within this movie and given the political climate we are living in within this country. They couldn't have released this movie at a better time. And aside from the cast, I really do love the filmmaking put on display within this movie. Paul Thomas Anderson, he definitely put his foot in the making of this movie. I'm not saying they're the best, but this movie had some of the best car chases I've seen in a long time. There's one involving in the middle of the desert, and there's a bunch of hills, and the way that was shot just had me at the end of my seat. Love Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie. Like I said, he's into making explosives, but now 16 years later, he's raising his daughter, and he is just a drunk stoner, burned out, and in some cases, that's kind of like my spirit animal if I was a father raising a 16-year-old daughter. Not to say anything about myself, but I'm just saying. He had some of the funniest moments within this film, and he does get a touch of redemption by the end of this film. I was singing her praises at the beginning of this video, but Teyana Taylor, she definitely came to work. Everybody in this movie clocked into work, and she's more so in the first act of this movie, and for the times that she was in it, she definitely brought it. Hall doesn't have too much to work with in this film, but for the times that she was in this film, she definitely left an impression on me because she's essentially almost a motherly guardian to Leonardo DiCaprio's character within this film. Chase Infinity, who plays Leo's daughter within this film, for this being her second film, she definitely clocked in her work too, and I can't wait to see what else she does moving forward after this movie. Sean Penn, who is essentially the antagonist in this movie, he was also a big surprise to me in this movie, and I'm not going to spoil anything about his character, but once you see this movie, you'll be like, yeah, this is probably the third best performance within, actually, no, the second best performance within this film. He definitely clocked into work, and at first you hate him, but then you're with him, but by the end you just hate him and you just want him to just go the fuck away. Oddly enough, I'll say the only person in this movie who was good but didn't get the most screen time is Benicio del Toro. I really dug this movie, but I'd say the biggest gripe I have about it is that it's 3 hours long. And as much as I was liking the movie, well, loving it, I'll even say, I'd say the runtime did drag the movie a bit. But it was, and some people would say it kind of dragged in the first act, which I get why you say that. But for me, it didn't really drag until after that first act. And I just felt like there were a bunch of scenes that were dragged out longer than they needed to be, and it made the movie longer than it had to be. Other than that, I absolutely love this film. It's definitely within my top 10 favorite movies of the year. Granted, like I said, I think this movie's going to piss some people off, but fuck them. I'm going to give One Battle After Another a mid hard eyes emoji, and I'm only giving it a mid hard eyes emoji because I just felt like the runtime of this movie kind of dragged the movie a bit. But other than that, I would definitely watch this movie again, but at home. Y'all so much for watching. Have y'all seen One Battle After Another? If so, let me know what you think in the comment section below. This your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.